Okay folks, Brian here from Northwind Garage. I got my TORO TimeCutter SS5000. It's a 50-inch cut, and I have to put in these new deck spindles. So, not because I want to, they're just so bad that the blades are flopping around. So I have to get this done. It's taken me away from the Monster Log series, but I still got to cut the grass. So here we are. So what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm just going to take the deck right off of it, so I can bring it right out here and get to work on it. Okay, so right here, right there, right there is where that hairpin will come out of. So we'll get rid of that. All right, and then, okay folks, so I'm going to take a screwdriver, right here, a screwdriver, get it behind here. There you go, and just pop that out of there, and that allows that deck to fall. So it'll move it forward and backwards. So now we lift up on the back of the deck, and you see the tip of my screwdriver right there. So now we lift up on the back of the deck. I don't know if you can see it or not. And then just scooch it back, lift and scooch back at the same time, and it comes disconnected. All right, so we're going to lift up and just scooch it back. Okay, so the deck's free with the exception of the belt. Now, the belt is loose enough so you can just disconnect it like this. Can you see that? So the belt should just come right off like that now, because we moved the whole deck back. Okay, so now the next step, see what we're hooked on here. Oh, I see, it's got to go forward a little bit. Oh, that's what it's hitting on. Okay. If you pull that rod out like that, so it clears the deck, there we go. Have to excuse the wind today, folks. It's kind of windy out. All right. So the next thing I want to do is get these covers off. It's like I'm missing a screw on that one. Okay, folks. So these guards are just a 5/16 socket. Had one there that missing the screw on. I don't know why I'm missing that, but it is what it is. And that screw's missing as well. Okay, now I think these are both the same. No, they're not. Maybe they are. No, one's just a little bit Oh, I guess they are the same. Okay, so what we want to do next, we got to get a socket for that big nut. Okay folks, so this has a belt diagram here. So you, if your machine, the belt diagram is worn off or whatever, you can refer back to this video if you have to. Okay, so give you a second to check that, but you can tell that this one is loose. Here, I'm just moving it side to side a little bit. This is the middle one. That's not making any noise at all. None at all, folks. The one on the end, that one's even worse than the other one was. This one made the most noise. And also, it threw something. Spin around here, Faith. And also, it threw something out the side of the chute here. I don't know if it was part of the, I don't know what it was. So, at some point in time, I'm going to have to fix that as well. But, this is what we got here now. So it's a 15/16 socket. You just pop those off like that. Those pulleys. Oh, I found my other screw. Ta-da! Might get lucky on this side too. All right, so those little ones look like either 13mm or 1/2 inch, either one. Let's see here. I'll say 1/2 inch. Them are it. All right, one down, one to go. So I'm gonna remove all the parts and then we'll flip the deck. So in order to hold this, folks, you just take the belt and you pinch it like this and hold it like that. And then just give it a few shots with the impact like this. She'll come right apart. So there you have it with that. There's your spindle. It's all exposed to us. Your old loose spindle. Well, that one broke. But that's okay, folks, because we have replacements with the new ones. This one came right apart, bearing and all. Look at that, folks. Okay. Now, I'm gonna move some tools around here, and we're gonna flip this deck. Before we do that, let's see if I can find that other little screw that we're missing for this cover. If you take any of this apart, remember where you put it. Remember where it goes. Okay. Excellent. So I don't see that screw. We might have lost it for good. All right, I'll flip this up. So these are brand new blades from about a week ago. So I'm not worried about the blades. So let's see. There's a little sleeves in there that we want to use to transfer the so those are going to want to go inside of here, I think. No, they're already in there. It's already in there. So we don't, this is a brand new replacement. We don't need those sleeves. This will work entirely perfect. So all we got to do, take the blades off of here. Wow, really loose. Really, really loose. Okay, so those are a 5/8 socket on the blades. A little bit of grass and stuff on there. All right. Okay, so these are right-hand thread. There's your spindle from the old unit. Wow, look at that bearing in there, folks. That is really bad. You know, it's a shame they don't put any grease fittings on these. No grease fittings at all. Can't even grease them. It's a shame. If you could grease that, you'd probably get a lot more life out of it. All right, on top of that, you have these little spacers that go inside of this. Oh, on this one. They fell out of this one, remember? So there's two spacers in there on these old ones. I'm just trying to show you the genetic makeup of one of these things. So these two spacers keep the right space in between the two bearings, folks. Once that rubber seal comes out of that bearing, it allows dirt and decay to get in there. And what happens is you wind up losing lubrication. So had these been greasable, they might have lasted a lot longer. This particular one, the new one, there's a hole started there, but they never went down through and put a grease passage in there. So they made the bearing sealed, which means they're not going to last as long, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. So you could probably put this in a lathe and drill a passage in there just to get some grease in there up against the back side of that bearing, and probably last longer. So anyway, I think these were about $58 for two on Amazon. I should start an affiliate link so y'all can get some of this stuff off of Amazon. So anyway, you just search your year, make, and model on Amazon, and they usually pop right up anyway. So all right, moving forward here, let's I'm just going to stick this part on here like this so I can put these together on that deck, and that center shaft doesn't pull out of those bearing assemblies. Unfortunate they don't put grease fittings in these. My Husqvarna does, but this doesn't. So I'm just gonna put this in and hand tighten it, folks. It's funny how that middle one held up perfectly and the ones on the ends went first. I guess they get all the vibration out there. Okay folks, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little 262 thread locker on this, just to keep them from loosening up. And I'm not going to get real crazy tightening these. So what I'm going to do is I want to tighten those by hand, so I know where they're at. So folks, I'm not going to put an incredible amount of torque on these because these will break off rather easily. So I'm just checking them here. Once that Loctite sets up, it'll be fine. Okay, so you want to be careful because you'll spin them right off and bust them right off quickly. There, one down. Actually, let's set the blade while we're at it. Okay, once again on this one, folks, I want to just start it by hand here so I can make sure I got a good bite on that thread without cross threading. Then I'm going to just, whoa, well, Mr. Dooley. Okay, so, all right, now I'm going to check it by hand. All right. Okay, I think it'll sit there comfortably. All right, so I'm just going to make sure this is tight. By hand standards, yeah, that's tighter than it needs to be actually. But okay, folks, so the next step is going to be to get my pulley back on here with the 5/16 socket. Okay, folks, so I don't know if it's recommended or not, but I'm going to give her a little Loctite love here. Alrighty then. Alright, so just like I showed you earlier, you just take the belt and you hold it like that. Make sure your impact's going the right way. That's it. Mr. Dooley, new one. Look at that. Much better than it was. Okay, so one down, one to go. All right, brand new one right here in the bag. That blade on the spindle. I just want to okay folks, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop looking at my ugly mug, and then I'm going to take a picture of these bearings and the numbers on these bearings to see if I can just order bearings next time and fix those. It looks like it's feasible to be able to do that. So the spindles look okay. So that looks like that could be very doable. All right, folks, so make sure I put this back together right. Whoa, the wind is getting carried away here. All right. All right. So when we get back over there, we're going to need the 15/16. Need that to check it with. 15/16 on here. Let's regroup over here. There we go. Just repeat the process on this side. I'm going to just do one to get it to hold up there because the blade is on this one this time, so it's wanting to fall out on me. So I'm just going to get one started here. All right, then I'll come back around to it. So this Loctite is going to prevent vibration loosening. Okay, I'm going to check it. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Now for the pulley. All right, folks. Yeah, that's tight. That's really tight. Okay. Let's lay this back down. Everything looks good here. It's starting to get tight. It won't be long and that one will be needing it. I should have just bought 3. Should have just bought 3, folks. Looks like I'll be getting in there again. Least ways you know how to do it. So what I'm thinking, folks, it might behoove me to put a new drive belt on this while I'm in it. I'm going to cut the video and I'll be right back with a new one. Okay, folks, so about 40 bucks later, got some screws to replace. Those screws, of course, they aren't what went in there, but I think the reason they fell out probably because they loosened up, you know, from debris hitting them on the bottom, because they cut right through the deck and go right into the deck space. So with that said, I'm just going to use a couple Tech screws, 10 by 5/8 inch screws, and put them in there. And this belt is I got it at the Home Depot. It covers a Toro wheel horse 50-inch cut deck belt. And just for comparison, get this little thingy off here first. So the contact edge of these belts is what rides in the pulley. And you can see that there's a little bit of wear on this old belt. And the new belt is much thicker. You see how narrow this is compared to this. I say much thicker. It's not by that much, but it's enough so it can cause slipping. And then it's a little glazed on the outside edge here, so it is a little bit worn. It's not completely used up, so I'll just throw it on the shelf and use it in case of an emergency. But this belt, as long as we're in there, I'm putting it in. All right, folks, so I'm gonna go by my guide up here. So these two outside belts, the idler belt gets the back side of the belt. This gets the inner side. This goes around and then around the idler like this, and then back around the other outside blade, and then back around to the inside. So, just for the sake of keeping it where it needs to be, I'll put it like that. Put these new covers, these covers back on. Looks like they'll line up perfectly. It appears it does matter where they go. They're the same though. They're definitely the same. Okay. So, I don't know, for what it's worth, I think I'm going to put a little Loctite on these as well, just to try and keep them from backing out. Don't want to get too aggressive with these. There's just that sheet metal holding them in place, so you want to be fairly conservative on the torque you give them, especially when you're wielding an impact wrench. Well, this one's being picky. I don't even know if this Loctite will do anything on such a small screw that's in. Alright, we'll get that spring right out of the way so we can work. Alright, that looks like it'll hold, folks. Okay, folks, now in order to get this deck back underneath here, I've taken a strap and I pulled it to the other side of the tractor. And I'm just gonna drag this deck in here, like so. Alright. So it looks like we're pretty close. Might be a little off. I'll take my makeshift creeper, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this thing hooked in here where it belongs. I'm not far off. Can you see right here, Faith? Can you see right here? Can you see it? Try not to wiggle too much. You got it? Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna hook that right on the push bar. There we go, it's hooked on. Now I'll go over and get the other side We'll just scooch this off, just like so. There, contact. Now, we gotta go in the front and get that support rod back in place, which is right here. Support rod right here. So all I gotta do, get my hand under there and lift up. And there you go. Now, that's all that's left for that, is to put the pin in. What I should have done, okay, so what I got to do first, I should have put the belt on first. I think I can get the belt though. So I'm gonna scooch back there and put the belt on the engine and get the belt back on the engine here. All right, so I got to get it. Okay, the belt's on the engine, so what I'm going to have to do now is tighten the idler up. All right, so I'm going to grab this spring. All right, there we go. All right, I'm just giving it a little spin, the belt a little spin. Looks good. All right, folks. So, next step. So I can't forget this. This is what holds that front rod onto the mower deck and keeps the mower deck centered. There we are. Okay folks, so that's it for the mower deck spindles on the TORO TimeCutter SS5000 50-inch cut. Northwind Garage, peace out and God bless you.